This is a second stimulus check update for June 11th. In this video, I'll go over the approximate check delivery timeline of when you could expect a second stimulus check, as well as some other updates. First, let's take a look at this. According to Forbes, Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, said he is seriously looking at more stimulus. More specifically, when asked if you were king for a day, what would you put in the next coronavirus bill? So he said 4 things: direct money to stimulate the economy, that's direct payments to Americans, encourage businesses to rehire people, support for travel, leisure, and restaurant sectors, and address unemployment. Now, I know probably you're just interested in direct payments as in a stimulus check. What he said about that is, I think we're going to seriously look at whether we want to do more direct money to stimulate the economy. Kind of a vague answer, but when can you actually expect a second stimulus check? So Senate Republicans, I think, are just playing games. They're stalling. It's kind of frustrating. So John Thune said, if you look right now at the schedule for the balance of June, work period is DOD, great outdoors, couple of circuit judges. I don't know how you could wedge that in there. This response is very frustrating because they have complete control over what goes into their schedule, what they talk about. With millions of Americans suffering, he's talking about great outdoors and circuit judges, which I think most Americans would find very frustrating, especially since they're going through hard times. And just to be clear, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue with the stimulus check. It's something completely different. Just to be clear, I'm an independent. I am not a Republican or Democrat. I don't belong to any party. But I find it interesting that John Thune, he has a net worth of $310,512 as of 2018, which I'm sure it has gone up since. Senator Roy Blunt's response to when the stimulus is coming, he said, end of July is frankly my sense of when I think we'll have all the information we need to put the next bill together, and it might be about the time when all of the money from the previous bills have been spent. Now, Roy Blunt's net worth as of 2018 is $10 million. Now, the reason why I'm pointing out their net worths is because it is not a Republican issue. As I said, there's many Republicans who do want more aid to Americans. This is a rich person issue. They have no idea of what Americans are going through when they barely have enough money in their bank account to feed their family, or rent was due last week and they're behind on that and they don't know how they're going to pay for any other bills throughout the month. And in regards to a future stimulus, Mitch McConnell said ought to be carefully targeted to correct the mistakes that we certainly made in passing a multi-trillion-dollar bill in 1 week. So Mitch McConnell, his net worth is $34 million. Now, the struggles of these millionaires who are in charge of helping millions of Americans are completely different than the Americans that they're helping. Their biggest struggles may be wondering if their country club is going to open up in time, or if they'll be able to make it to their second vacation home over the weekend. It's a totally different struggle that they have compared to the Americans that they're supposed to be helping. And if we look at the Senate schedule, so they're saying mid to late July is when they're going to discuss it, but they are off July 3rd to July 17th, which is 20 days, including the weekends, and they're only going to be in office for 2 weeks or so, and then August 10th to September 7th, which is an entire month, they're going to be off during that time as well. I know I share this information a lot. I just think it's really important that you are aware of the people who are supposed to be helping Americans, and they are living in a different reality compared to the other 95% of America. Just to be clear, I have no issue with rich people. Make as much money as you want. I believe in capitalism. My problem is that the rich people are in charge of helping struggling Americans during this crisis. I believe it's important that Americans understand the issue at hand here, so please share this video on social media so that more people could be informed of what's really going on. According to Fox Business, coronavirus has caused food prices to skyrocket. So it went up 5.8% between March 1st and May 30th. The prices of steak, ribs, and pork have gone up 10%. Chicken is up 7%. But this is mainly because the pork and beef plants were running at 60% capacity by mid-May. So as from mid-May until now, which is almost mid-June, it's at almost 90% capacity. So it's more of a labor issue. They didn't have enough people to process the meat and send it out to grocery stores, which is the reason why of the price surge. So hopefully now that it's at 90%, hopefully prices go back down soon. Next, there are some announcements in terms of the Federal Reserve. So they forecast 6.5% contraction in US gross domestic product for 2020, with a 5% rebound in 2021 and 3.5% growth in 2022. So the Fed say that they are not going to raise the rates. It could actually be years until the interest rates rise again, and so it's going to remain the same throughout 2021 and possibly 2022 as well. So Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, we're not thinking about raising rates. We're not even thinking about raising rates. So if you have a mortgage right now is the best time to refinance. My friend just did it the other day, and over the course of the mortgage, he's going to save over $100,000. If you're renting, tell your landlord about maybe refinancing the house or apartment that you live in, and hopefully they could pass on those savings onto you and give you some relief in terms of paying rent. There's been a lot of people talking about the state of our economy now and comparing it to the Great Depression almost 100 years ago, but this doesn't really make sense because according to Jerome Powell, this is man-made, meaning that the economy was artificially switched off to prevent the spread of the virus. So if the virus is completely gone, people just go back to their jobs. It's much different than the Great Depression. And Powell said the path ahead for the economy is highly uncertain and continues to depend to a significant degree on the path of the pandemic. So it all depends really if there's going to be a second wave. According to Bloomberg, second wave we're starting to see signs of it, so cases top 2 million. So far there are 3 indicators of a second wave. Florida reported 8,553 new cases this week. Texas hospitalizations spiked to 6.3%, and Arizona has reached an all-time high of 1,187 as of June 2nd. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on a second wave coming and how it'll affect the economy? Do you think the economy will shut down again if a second wave comes back again? So I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is part of Horry County, and there's been more than 80 cases reported. So Myrtle Beach is a big destination spot, and it got 83 as of yesterday afternoon. And the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control labeled Myrtle Beach a hot spot for the virus. So usually every year we get about 20 million tourists that come to the area. We only have a population of about 35,000 people who permanently live here in Myrtle Beach. I think this case in Myrtle Beach is probably similar to Florida as well as a lot of other tourist destinations where people are coming from all over, they're in tight quarters, then they bring it back to home. So I don't know what's going to happen here, we'll find out. And if you want more second stimulus check updates, you could click this playlist over here. And if you want to learn some strategies of how to save up to $1,000 per month, you could click this video over here. It's on my second channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.